Howdy everyone, old Gary out here at the Fishing Shack, and welcome to this week's Fishing Chums Fishing Show and Fishing Report. How you guys and gals doing out there, chummers? I hope you're doing good. I hope you had a good week. And according to my photos you guys been sending me the last few days, you've had a pretty good week. Boy, we have some nice photos, some good fish being caught right now. This is the time of the year, though, that the lakes are going to be turning over. It always happens in the fall. I know Norfolk's about ready to go. I've had some reports out at Beaver, and so the fishing can be a little slow this time of the year, but still, boy, I've got some good reports for you. Out at Truman Lake, my golly molly, they've been picking up some nice crappie out there at Truman, without a doubt. In fact, I have a photo of one over 3 pounds caught a few days ago. We'll be showing you this. And you know, the crappie fishing is improving out at Stockton. You know, you have to go through a lot of small fish, but you can catch your limit of some nice crappie. And good reports out at Shoals and Table Rock of the smallmouth fishing. Boy, Carl and I the last couple of weeks have really been catching some nice quality smallmouth. And good reports, got a good photo coming out at Table Rock with the smallmouth of over 4 pounds. Pretty good striper fishing the last few days out at Beaver. I know the guys are working for them, but they're getting into them. So we have a good show for you today, for sure. Here we are, about the middle of October already. Crazy. All right, let's go out to Beaver Lake. That water temperature out there this morning was 71 degrees. That's not bad. And I want to show you a nice striper. Yeah, you know, Beaver has a lot of stripers, and they have some good fish too. I mean, and I think we're going to be seeing bigger and bigger fish in November. But look at this from Hooked On Fishing Guide Service. Look at this beautiful striper. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that backdrop with the leaves turning. Oh, great photo. And they've been picking up some nice fish this week, the Hooked On Fishing Guide Service. Hey, Dave was out. He was out the other day with guide Zach Penland and got his grandson into some stripers. And I tell you what, they're hooked on stripers out there right now. Boy, getting kids into stripers, woo, can't get much better than that. Good photo, guys. And down below the dam, boy, at the Beaver Dam, they're catching some nice trout. They have been for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Good quality fish, that's for sure. And my old friend Richard Lee Rusher from the Custom Adventures Guide Service. Boy, they've been picking up some nice fish. Look at this beautiful trout. You know, just like this photo, the trout are catching down there. Just really nice quality fish. And so if you need a good trout trip, it's a lot of fun, good people, Richard Lee and Lisa from the Custom Adventures Guide Service. Ooh, you'll have a lot of fun. Now, they're catching trout on a variety of bait, I've heard. Panther Martin spinners. I've heard of trolling crankbaits. Also, they've been picking up some fish on spoons and Berkeley power bait as well. Whatever, you're going to catch fish down there at the Beaver Dam, that's for sure. Okay, let's go out on the main lake right now. The water temperature, like I said, was 71 degrees. The lower 1/3 of the lake, they're picking up some stripers. And as I mentioned, that lake's going to be turning over, and that's what we need. Once that turns over and everything settles down, I've had great, I mentioned on last week's program, great striper fishing in the month of November out at Beaver, and it's going to be fantastic this November, I know. But they're still picking up some stripers. The guys are going down off the flats and the long points using live bait, getting their parties into them, and vertically fishing. And so they are picking up some nice stripers out there, but they're working for them. I've had fair reports on bass and smallmouth bass. Early in the morning, you can pick some fish up on topwater, like a popper has been working, also maybe a spook. And Carla, give me that chatterbait there, hon. I did want to mention the chatterbait has really been working. Thank you, dear. The chatterbait has really been working at all of our Ozarks Lake this week for bass fishing. And this is just a good chatterbait, just a jig head with a blade on it. And that's been working out at Beaver. And they've been picking up some fish on square bill crankbaits, slow rolling spinnerbaits. You know, the shad are starting to move back in the creek areas, and some of the guys have been going out there starting about to 1/3 of the creek and working their way back and throwing jigs and brush and Texas-style plastic worms, chatterbaits, slow-rolling spinnerbaits. So beaver may be good for the upcoming weekend bass fishing. And, I've had some pretty good reports. It's improving anyway. The crappie fishing the last few days out at Beaver. The boys have been going out there, and they're working for them, going through a lot of small fish, but they're catching some nice keepers out there, fishing the brush piles with minnows in about anywhere from 12, 15, or 25 feet of water, even deeper. So beaver looks good for the upcoming weekend. Good catfishing in the river areas out there on cut shad as well. Okay, let's go out to Rock, Table Rock. Table Rock was 70 degrees this morning. This water temperature is even going to drop more the next few days with this cooler weather moving in. The weather, we had a cold front come in on Thursday. The surface temperature dropped 20 degrees from Wednesday to Thursday. Friday, it's going to be a beautiful day. Temperatures around 70 degrees. Going to have a good upcoming weekend too as far as the temperatures. But I do understand there might be a little bit of rain coming in on Sunday. Keep an eye on that, out on that. Okay, Table Rock, boy, we've had some good smallmouth fishing out there the last 2.5 weeks. Carl and I have been blessed. We've got some dandies out there. And some of these smallmouth are moving a little bit closer to the shore. I'll try 6, 8, 10, 12 feet of water. When that sun comes up, you may have to go out a little bit deeper. And when they're on the shoreline, you can slow roll spinner baits and also pitch some jigs up there and swim baits. But what we've been doing is when that sun gets out, we just go deeper. We caught a lot of nice fish in 28 feet of water. But the other day we caught some fish. When that sun got real high, we went out to 80 feet of water and found some streaking fish down around 35 and 40 feet of water. Look at this nice spot that Carla caught. Isn't that a gorgeous fish? Good going, girl. She caught that on ultralight. Man, I tell you what, a lot of fun. The bass fishing out at Table Rock, you can catch them in a variety of ways right now. Early in the morning, it's slowed down a little bit, but topwater bite has been fair. Popping baits like a popar, also some spooks, and they've been using some buzz baits at times back in the creek areas. Like I said, a lot of shad are moving back into the creek areas. And on some of the main lake points and bluff ends, square-billed crankbaits have been working good. And I've had a good report this week. Early in the morning, after a little bit of a topwater bite, you can start going out on these points and start maybe with a square-billed crankbait. Shaky heads have been going pretty good out there as well. And the shaky heads, and they've been picking up some fish also on swim baits. When the sun gets way high, you may want to go out deeper and deeper, look at your locator, and you might have to do some drop shot fishing out there. But I tell you what, they've been picking up some nice fish on jigs as well, drifting jigs, and also getting back in the creek areas, flipping jigs in some of the brush piles. Okay, crappie fishing is starting to pick up a little bit at Table Rock, up in the river area, especially around Cape Fair. You can get out there and do the brush piles. I've heard anywhere from 12, 18 to 25 feet of water. Minnows are the best, jigging minnows. Some people also kind of tight lining some of the standing old timber, picking up some fish as well. I've had a little bit better report on some crappie moving in some of the dock areas too, minnows, jigging minnows. Alrighty, let's see, that was Table Rock, 70 degrees. And did I show you that picture of Scott Pingle? I think I missed that, but Scott Pingle, my buddy, just retired out on Table Rock Lake, and he's enjoying his retirement. He's my walleye fishing buddy. Walleye fishing's been a little bit slow, but look at this beautiful 4+ pound smallmouth that he caught the other day. Some nice smallmouth are being caught out at Table Rock. Good going, Scott. Enjoy your retirement, my friend. Beautiful fish, beautiful fish. All right, now let's go out to Lake Taneycomo. It's 55 degrees. Cold water coming out of down below the dam at Table Rock into Taneycomo. They haven't been running much water this week. It's been kind of slow. And so the drift fishing has been. I know the fly fishermen are doing good. Some people are going out there with jigs, putting a float up above a jig, pitching a jig out, working it. But I tell you one thing, if they're not running water this weekend, which they may not, just get out there and just get yourself a good spinning ultralight 2 or 4 pound test. I talk about it a lot on the program because I love to fish this way. A 32nd or even a 64th ounce jig. Olive green's been good, brown's been good, even black, cinnamon, and pitch that thing out and let it go down. It might take a while for it to go down, then just slow roll it in. Ooh, you can catch a nice trout on this. Also, I've had reports of just straight lining down below the boat jigs. Been picking up some fish as well. Dock fishing at Taneycomo's been pretty good. They've been picking up some fish off the docks, mainly on night crawlers. Like try a half a night crawler on the docks and some power eggs. Okay, let's go out to Bull Shoals. Bull Shoals is 69 degrees. Guess what at Bull Shoals? That lake is only 2 feet high now. What was it this spring? 40 feet high? It's just a lot of water out there, but it's really starting to settle down out there. I heard the topwater fishing was a little off this week, but don't overlook topwater fishing. Buzz baits can work, and also some spooks and then buzz baits, but you might have to work for them. But just like table rock, some of the bass are starting to move back in, following the shad back into the creek arms. Start about halfway or a third way back and work your way. They've been picking up some fish flipping jigs in the brush piles. They've been using these chatter baits. They've been working out there. And also they've been picking up some fish on swim baits. And like I said, slow rolling spinner baits. And so try that out at Bull Shoals. Crappie fishing has been pretty good. They've been, the boys that's been working at it, finding fish anywhere from 18 feet of water down to close to 40 feet of water over the brush piles. Minnows have been the best. And a few walleye have been caught the last few days. Our old friend Daniel Crome was out the other day. Caught a couple dandies. Look at this one here. Daniel, good going, my friend. You can catch those walleye. I've had reports of off the points and the flats, on the edge of the flats. I've had good reports in the Pontiac area. A couple nice walleye caught out there the other day. And also the Oakland area. Don't overlook the Oakland area. They've been using bottom bouncers with a night crawler with a little spinner. Other people are just using a half a night crawler and a jig head, a quarter or an 1/8 ounce jig head, vertically fishing for them when there's no wind. So a few walleye have been caught out at Bull Shoals. And don't overlook that crappie fishing, the bass fishing. Lake's only 2 feet high. Oh, that's good. All right, let's go out to Stockton Lake. That water temperature out at Stockton today was 68 degrees. Crappie fishing, you bet, some crappie are being caught out there. Now, you may have to wade through a bunch of those little rascals to get some keepers, but you can get some keepers, that's for sure. My old friend Jeff Deckert was out the other day, and look at these two beautiful crappie. I think he had a limit of crappie, and he was straight lining minnows. Straight lining minnows. I love, now that's my favorite way to fish for crappie. Either pitching a jig out and slow rolling the jig, or just straight lining. Just sometimes they'll just come up and mess with that jig. Ooh boy, jig and minnows are working real good out at Stockton. But like I said, you got to work through small ones, but you can catch enough to stake up that skillet and have a good dinner, and you might even catch your limit out there this weekend. Some people are fishing for those suspended fish as well. They're going out there with bandits or flicker shads and spider rigging, catching some crappie as well for those suspended fish. You might try Stockton crappie fishing this weekend. Bass fishing has slowed a little bit. I think that's due to a kind of a low, not much activity out there for bass. But the boys who are going out there, they've been going to the points, secondary points, the brush pile, flipping jigs. They've been using some topwater in the morning. That's just slow rolling buzz baits can work. Also, they're using a chatterbait, and they've been picking up some fish with textile plastic worms out there. So try Stockton for bass maybe this weekend. Walleye fishing, kind of like the crappie fishing out there. They've been doing this for weeks. They're on the points, secondary points, and on the edge of some of the flats out there. But you have to go through a bunch of small walleye to catch a keeper or two. But it's a lot of fun. And some people are using bottom bouncers, but I tell you what, I think the most successful people are using like an 1/8 ounce jig head with a night crawler or a half a night crawler, or maybe even a horse head, an old Berkeley horse head with a half a night crawler, and working it. But you are going to catch small ones, but hopefully you'll catch a couple of good keepers this weekend out there. Watch for white bass at Stockton. At times they've been coming up surfacing, and that's always fun to get the kids into. White jigs will work, also spoons, small spoons, and small spinners, just about anything out there when those white bass start working. So good luck out at Stockton this weekend. Pomme de terre, 70 degrees out there this morning. My old friend Zach Massey. By this kid catches fish. Look at this beautiful crappie Zach caught out at Pomme de terre the other day. Beautiful crappie, Zach. It ought to be photo of the week, but you know, you could get photo of the week every week, so I have to share this photo of the week. It deserves to be photo of the week, though. Beautiful crappie out at Pomme de terre. Now, they have been catching some limits of fish. Some of the people are wading through some small fish like Stockton, but boy, there can be some nice crappie caught this weekend out at Pomme de terre. Find the brush piles, you know, go brush pile hopping, one brush pile or the other. Jig and minnows have been the best, and some of the standing timber out there as well. And in fact, Chris Patton was out the other day. Chummer, Chris Patton. Zach's a chummer, good going, you and your dad. Chris Patton was out the other day. He had his grandson out at Pomme de terre. Look at this beautiful crappie. Look at that great smile. Good going, chummers. Good going. Daniel Crumb's the chummer. Yeah, Scott Pingle's the chummer. All my chummers are sending in great photos this week. Okay, the bass fishing at Pommy slowed down a little bit this week. Might start off the morning with a little bit kind of a buzzbait type topwater or a pop R, subtle pop R, and then flip some of the brush piles and also Texas style plastic worms. A bright color, I heard, orange or red or even pink plastic worms can work. And they've been picking up some fish on square bill crankbaits on the points out there as well. You know, they're working for them, not fast, but they are picking up some fish. And watch for the white bass at Pomme de terre. I've heard some white bass coming up surfacing back in some of the coves out there, and that's always a lot of fun. Okay, kids, let's go out to Truman Lake. Water temperature out there this morning was 68 degrees. That's not too bad. And I want to show you a good crappie. Ooh, boy. Kyler Beckman, he's a guide out there, good guide. He catches big fish. Look at this photo, one well over 2 pounds, and the other well over 3 pounds. Anytime you catch a 3-pound crappie, it needs mention. Man, nice crappie, good going Kyler Beckman, good guide out at Truman. And they're catching some nice fish out there. I tell you what they're doing is mainly in the river areas and the creek areas. They're getting back there and just using tight lining, I understand. Jig and minnows. Minnows are the best. Fishing the brush piles, the standing timber. I heard the Osage arm's good this week. Check that out. And I had a good report from the Bucksaw area on the Grand. But anyway, they're catching some nice crappie. Anywhere I've heard from 6 feet of water to 8 to 12, down to 15, 18 feet of water. And I did hear this report again this week. Some crappie at the lower 1/3 of the lake at Truman are moving towards the bluff areas, and you can find a good brush pile on the bluff. Get down there with the jig and minnow. You can have a lot of fun doing this as well. A lot of throwback fish, but you can catch some keepers. Now, if you want to get into some nice white bass and hybrids down by the dam, at times they've been schooling in the morning hours, the evening hours, and also in the KK Island. Spoons have been good, live bait's been good. They have been picking up some nice white bass and hybrids. Now, getting back to the crappie fishing, don't want to overlook Darren Anderson, another great guide out there. I don't know Darren, but I had about 3 different people send me his photos. He catches a lot of fish. What a good guide. He gets his people into crappie. Look at this slab. Look at these slabs on this table full of crappie. Oh, isn't that a beautiful photo? Boy, that's some good crappie fishing. Darren Anderson Guide Service out at Table Rock. Chummer Travis England was out the other day, had his son. He caught some crappie at Truman in 15 to 25 feet of water. Good photo there. Thank you very much, Travis. Now, you know, the catfishing, it's getting better, especially on the Osage arm. I've had good reports of some nice cats being caught there. My old chummer, my buddy Jordan Lear, was out the other day. Look at this beautiful catfish that he caught. He catches catfish. If you ever want a good guided catfish trip, get a hold of Jordan. Just go to our group page, and I'll get you a hold of Jordan. Boy, great guide, good young man, beautiful. He has all the equipment. He takes good care of you. All right, bass fishing at Truman, like I said, it's been fair on the points and the brush piles. Flipping jigs, also plastic worms. Been picking up some fish on the chatterbait and slow rolling spinnerbait, square bill crankbaits. All right, let's go out to Lake of the Ozarks. Photo of the week. Patricia Deckert. Look at this young lady. Look at that smile. She started the week off good fishing out at Lake of the Ozarks. Beautiful young lady there. Man, what a great photo of the week. Patricia, good going. Now at Lake of the Ozarks, the bass fishing, we'll start out with the bass fishing. A lot of the shad are moving to the creek areas. Some people are going all the way back into the creek areas and working themselves back out. They're using chatterbaits. They're using square-billed crankbaits. They're flipping jigs, plastic worms, just a kind of a variety of baits. And boy, catching some nice bass. A little slower than last week, but they have been picking up some fish in those creek areas. Speaking of the creek areas, especially the docks that are in deep water, at least 25, 30 feet of water, they've been picking up crappie this week in the docks, shooting jigs. Also, when that sun gets up there, fish the shaded area and get in there and vertically fish some jig and minnows. Out on the main lake, there's still some crappie out there, suspended in 12, 15 to 25 feet of water. They're trolling with their spider rigs of bandits and also flicker minnows out there. And there's been some pretty good catfishing this week on the Osage Arm on cut shad at Lake of the Ozarks, that's for sure. Let's wrap this thing up. Let's go out to Norfolk Lake. The water temperature was 71 degrees, a beautiful lake on the Missouri-Arkansas line, beautiful lake. And they're getting ready to turn over out there. They've been picking up some fish. The stripers have been a little slow this week. And once in a while they're finding some white bass and hybrids surfacing. Keep your eye out on for this. Bass fishing's been fair for the few people bass fishing, but they're working for them. A little bit of a topwater bite in the morning hours. Then they're going to square-billed crankbaits, slow-rolling spinnerbaits out there. So try this. And a few walleye have been caught this week by trolling flicker shads or flicker minnows over about 25 feet of water. And I tell you what, we usually don't say much about farm ponds, but Brian Holiday, he's a chummer, sent this photo in of his son. And look at these two beautiful, he sent 2 photos in, but look at this bass. That's well over 10 pounds in a Missouri farm pond. Congratulations. Good fish. Thank you. Chummers. Well, that's about it for the day. We have some great photos coming your way. We have selected some beautiful photos on our fishing photo roll, so don't go anywhere. For our people over on YouTube, thank you for watching us. Those numbers keep going down. Everybody's going over to Facebook for some reason. But I want to thank you guys for sticking it out on YouTube. And be sure to like and share. And Kathy, put her up there. Subscribe. Thank you very much. And if you have any photos you want to send us, or you folks over on YouTube, be sure to go to our email. Email us at fishingchums@gmail.com. For our thousands of viewers over on Facebook, gosh darn, we had well over 10,000 views on Facebook last week. That's amazing for this time of the year. Thank you very much for you people over there, you chummers on Facebook. Be sure to like and share the show. We really appreciate that. And also, we want you to join our group page. Boy, we have a lot of fun with our group page. It doesn't cost you anything. And this is the best way to send photos to old Gare. Just send them to our Fishing Chums group page on Facebook. And we have a lot of fun. We do some chatting. We do some sharing stuff. So send those photos. And by the way, the best way to send photos to us, we'll get it right on the air the following week. And be sure to mention the lake, the name of the lake. Some people send in a nice photo, but they don't tell me, they forget to put the lake in, but we do need the name of the lake. Well, God bless you all. Have a nice weekend. We have a weather change. It's going to be cooler, maybe a little bit of rain on Sunday. It's going to be very nice next week, 60s and low 70s degrees. Wow, that's fall fishing, that's for sure. And so have a good weekend. Be safe. Be safe. Kathy, roll those photos.